Hi guys, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, you might be wondering, we're not in 2016 anymore, Rich. Have you lost your corn-fed mind? And the answer is no. But back last year, at the end of it, I wanted to do a video about potential champions that I would like, as well as champs that I think would come into the game. Now, I did try and put the video out close to New Year's Eve on the 31st, and I was accused of copying Seaton, so that wasn't particularly helpful for the matters. So I thought, well, I'm going to hold off. Actually, I'm gonna delete the video and I'm going to hold off because I want to see what gets released in January to give me an idea of what is coming in the future. And everything that we thought we were going to get, it ain't happening. So I'm going to come up with some ideas of champions that I think could be coming in, as well as champions that I think I would like to come in, as well as ones that I think you guys would like as well, and why. So to start off with the fact that there were 26 champions, new champions released in 2016. Now, if there's anything to go by, then in 2017, so the year that we're in at the moment, we should see a similar amount. I'd probably say a little bit less than that, but it's very hard to tell. So let's go with potentially between 24 and 26 again that we will see. So let's have a look at potential options and why. As you know, first of all, we saw Gwenpool, Gwenpool, not a well-known Marvel character, but still a very new character, and it's quite good to see the integration between modern comic books and say the game. So we've got this nice little kind of mix. Cable was a nice little introduction. I think that it's perfect fit for this character to be put in, and does set up some future characters that maybe could be put in. One or two that I'm pretty certain will get a nod at some point, either this year or it's got to be next year. But it's not always based on what's out there with regards to films or what's going to be on TV. But they do factor into what we're going to talk about. So we know we're going to get Dormammu, which is fantastic because the character is on that badassery scale of villain. I know a lot of people have kind of like questioned that, should he be? Oh, he's not that OP. He's not on God level. But the fact is, it's all about a conversion rate from what we know in, say, Doctor Strange the film, to what we know in the comic books, to what then scale we get him in the game. We know that he's not going to be OP. He should be OP, but he won't be OP. However, though, I feel the champion, as a champion, he's going to be really effective for Master Mode. All that power locking and his abilities allow for some really amazing kind of taking down of power and punishing for generating power, which Master Mode has. So if you're a new player or a player that wants to make that jump from heroic to master, I suggest that you kind of grind and save your units and kind of try and go for this champion as a featured, or try and go for him as an arena champion, because he is going to be really effective in Master Mode, like ridiculously. I'm going to be going for hopefully 2 5-star crystals for him. I probably won't get him, but if I got him and awakened, then I think that I will be singing from the rooftops. But it's not the most revelation of characters that we're going to be getting this year. So the Hood was a bit of a kind of a odd fix. I didn't really kind of think that we'd get this champion. It's very odd to see them come in, especially like, well, in what kind of context? But it seems to be the relationship between Dormammu and the Hood that they're kind of factoring in. It's a bit odd that we didn't see Dormammu kind of feature when it was a Doctor Strange event, but there you go, you've got to set up something. And it could be another kind of need for a Sorcerer's Conclave in some kind of way, or maybe some kind of storyline that kind of brings all of these new characters together, especially because we're really strengthening the Mystic line. Skill line seems to be getting a lot of treatment at the moment, but it's just the techs seem to be really flagging, so hopefully there's a boost with them. Now let's go on to the other champions that I think we'll potentially get, say with films coming on, film releases, and then maybe some ones that I would like and you would like as well. So I think it's long overdue for a different type of Punisher, and the current Punisher that we've got in the game isn't particularly good. So I think that we're going to be seeing a new one. I really do. It'll either be a Netflix Punisher, or it will be something completely different. That will largely tie into the release of the Netflix series, which should be at some part in this year. I think it is going to be, it's got to come. The design, which we've got this kind of design in the game. I think that we would probably get something that was a little bit more subtle and in keeping with maybe the Netflix version. I don't really know, but I feel that may be something that's going to be coming our way. So there's a good chance that we'll see a warrior type Hulk. And people may say, well, that's a bit stupid to get a warrior Hulk. We've already got so many Hulk reskins, it's unbelievable. Well, the warrior Hulk may be the kind of righting of wrongs that we get with the current Hulk, in that he's not as, say, powerful. He certainly does bleed, but I think that this kind of design will be some way to go. It's either going to be this with regards to the release or some other things potentially. But I think that a Warrior Hulk would be really cool with regards to appearance and what the character would look like. I'm sure that people would warm to it a bit more, and it's got this kind of Tekken Street Fighter type vibe to the character in appearance. They could be quite like really cool to kind of play with. Big strikes, swing of swords, inflict bleed on the enemies. Really cool stuff. But Kabam have the option to go nuts with this. With Wolverine Weapon X still yet to be released in the game, I think that this is going to be a perfect year. Even though it's not really kind of going to be overly associated with the film Logan, it would be the best time, I think, to release it with something to tie in. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're kind of breaking any rules of any kind of Fox licensing or anything like that. I really hope they do it. The ideas around the character being able to be unstoppable, it's going to be really cool. And I think that they missed a trick with not releasing it the first time. Hopefully they get it right and release it as soon as possible, or this year in even. With Thor Ragnarok inbound, I think that releasing Heimdall would be a really good idea. The idea to kind of bring him in would just be really good. I think the kind of a style would be close to like Idris Elba's Heimdall, because he looks really cool. But any kind of version would be nice to see within the game, and kind of really tie in the links between like an Asgardian event. And I did talk about a long time ago about the idea they should do an Asgardian event or something where it incorporates stuff with the film. So yeah, Heimdall, I think that would be really good. I think this would then go hand in hand with the next one. So Angela, aka Aldrich, Odin's daughter, that character should be in the game, and she is. She has game files or kind of game data that's in there for her, so it's more logical that she would go in. But like I said, I do think that this should go hand in hand with an Asgardian event. I'm talking Heimdall, I'm talking Angela. It's a good fit to kind of do something with, and there's good linkage as well. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy linkage. It's just like this really kind of good kind of tapestry of different stories coming in that can make this really darn decent if Kabam threaded these in. And there's so many characters this year that they could bring out, like loads, and the same thing going up to 2019, just like loads of characters to bring out. But this would go time well with a Thor Ragnarok event, having had Heimdall and Angela. Anything else would have to have the Warriors 3 in, but I just don't think that they stand alone as being characters to be introduced unless they decide they're going to bring in all three at the same time. And if they did bring in the Warriors 3, then they would have to bring in Lady Sith, and that would be a good fit. That would be a good idea. However, with Angela in and a female, I think then there would be then a scope to then add a male in, and it would be just a standalone male. Having more than kind of like two characters at one time is not really Kabam's thing. It's all about one like two characters at the same time. Sometimes they go with like one male, one female, but it seems to be a lot of the time it's like it would be two males. But it just depends how they want to play it as to what they put in. The only other option then is to put in the All-Father Odin, as and that would be a complete badass character to put in, like a badass good guy, which I think again would be great, but the likelihood of that is very kind of slim to nil. I would probably say it'd be best to have it as a kind of like a positive kind of person that's like features in quests, similar to like MODOK the Collector. you know, just like there for the sake of it, unless they found a way of putting him in. But it just depends on how powerful they make the character, what abilities he would have. But we need to establish a lot of things to create a Asgardian event. So Professor X, a character I've always wanted, is going to be very difficult to put into the game based on the fact that how do you fight someone in a wheelchair? How does a wheelchair bound person fight the enemy? Do they put him standing up prior to paralysis? It's very, very hard to do that. I don't think it's ever going to happen unless the only kind of capacity they'll put the character in is with regards to, I'd say, the like positive things like the collector or the or like MODOK when they're featuring on quests. I think that's the only way that he would actually be able to feature in. A character that I've always wanted in is Bishop, based on the way that he can just manipulate power and energy, and he's just like, you know, he looks so cool, and he's got this kind of futuristic vibe. And putting him in, then him and Cable having some kind of storyline would just be so cool. I think he'd just be amazing. And you know, I think a lot of people would like Bishop in. I think that it's a character that the fans would like to see as well, from myself being a very strong X-Men fan. So I think let's make it happen in some capacity, but it's just depending on when and where. I noticed that at the moment, and you can see down the right side there, where is it here? Legion is happening at the moment. But you know, Kabam haven't done anything to kind of acknowledge that. It was a bit of a shame because they kind of missed a trick. I need to kind of like watch Legion a bit more, just to kind of find out a bit more about it. From what I've been told, that it's something to do with Charles Xavier's son. So I need to kind of take in a bit of time to do that. But that's the same thing with Kabam missing a trick with not doing anything in association with this being like happening. It's good exposure for them. So for me, this is a bit of a, I'd say, a sore subject in some respects. Like going back to the Jean Grey argument. Okay, Jean Grey is in the game files, but the way that the character looks is not really kind of like Jean Grey-ish. That's good in any kind of aspect. I think that the Jean Grey that needs to be put in is, it's got to be more in keeping with like 90s style, like early X-Men style, sorry, from like early comic books, just to kind of put in some context of what's going on. Because we've just got, like, it was like very odd to have a blue team's Cyclops kind of emoting to the Phoenix in the storyline for Terra Genocide, when from a timeline perspective, they should have just gone with doing the Xavier School one just for the sake of it. It just didn't seem right. You know, we didn't have any kind of establishment of Jean Grey and his association with her. We had no build up to that. And from a storyline perspective, you can't. It's like jump. You don't just jump from like place to place like Nightcrawler. It's just like you just like weave a tapestry of story. It's like saying the Bao tapestry. It's like taking like the section from the start and then going to the section at the end and going, what the hell happened? So that's really kind of my thoughts on it. They need to kind of do a different type of character, give us some telekinesis powers, but they didn't establish that. There was too much on the Phoenix and not enough about Jean Grey herself. So hopefully things improve with that and we actually see a proper Jean Grey going forward. I'm pretty certain that close to the time of Spider-Man Homecoming, we're going to see Vulture. I think it'd be a good fit. We've kind of exhausted the amount of Spider-Man suits that we can have in the game, or any kind of symbiote, and it just seems that, you know, we should get one of this going forward. It just seems like, because it's the villain, that it would fit in well into the game. I think it'd be really good, very good concept. And they got Falcon, so they can use a lot of the kind of the ideas that they had from Falcon and kind of put it on to Vulture. So this is one that I think, you know, we've got to have it. Should be in. This is a character that's very left field, and it all comes about from me watching the 90s animated series of X-Men and Morph or Mystique. Still, the idea that the character as kind of like Morph can then, I don't know, basically replicate what the enemy's doing. So it's like, if like appearance kind of replication. Like, say if Morph is fighting off against Scarlet Witch gets a couple of buffs like Fury and Regeneration, and Morph is able to then you press block down, and then you convert over to looking like Scarlet Witch facing off against the enemy, and then you're able to do their L1 and L2. I don't know if that would be a good idea, but I think that it would be good to get these morphing characters and do the same with Mystique potentially moving forward. So one character I would like to see, and then going into the fact that we've got Guardians of the Galaxy coming up, is Yondu. I think he would be quite cool, especially like having signature ability with doing something with the arrow, like similar like Hawkeye, but regards to like the arrow, like having like an amazing like L2 or L3 that you're able to kind of like the arrow just like pings around the screen, kind of like putting in like a few bleeds or something, and kind of like really kind of exposed for deep wounds. I do think the character would be quite good. Don't think that'd be quite good to go like in this kind of design, but I do like the kind of newer design that they kind of gave with that, coupled with the Guardians 2 look with regards to the higher mohawk. That's very subtle, but at the same time is in keeping and close to what we see here. Red Skull is actually in the game in any case somewhere, but it really needs to be a case that they get this champion. He's just spent too much time on the sidelines and missed opportunities to get him in. They should get him in as soon as possible, just so we can play him. I think he's going to be really cool. So and Cap needs to face off against him. He's bored, for God's sakes. Next one is Nova. This is a character that I'm pretty certain there was something that Trocus, Marvel Contest of Champions Trocus, delved up, that there was information somewhere about Nova, but in what capacity? Like, would this tie into Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Is it going to be some kind of build up for a Nova movie? It's really hard to tell, but I do think that there is definite scope with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to kind of input the character in some way. Like I say, Yondu, Nova, this could be really good for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Would they put in something like, I don't know, a baby Groot? I don't know. But 2 characters in Yondu and Nova that they could put in. So another character that they should really have added in a long time ago is Whiplash. Just to kind of make the villains a bit more kind of padded, because we need a lot more villains. We've got good guys, we need some bad guys as well. Abilities wise, kind of looking at a bit more like Electro. Could have... So it's got to be a tech in any case, but I think it would be a good fit to be put in, and should have really been put in a little while ago. So this was a character that I thought would have been added a long time ago, especially with Luke Cage, is Misty Knight, or Mercedes Knight. And she's pretty darn badass. In the most kind of like modern sense, she has a robotic arm, which is so cool, and just kind of factoring into stuff that's going on at the moment would be great. We've got the Defenders coming up soon. I think that's kind of pushing into 2018 rather than 2017. But there's a good opportunity to put her in and have her in now, and so then she's all ready for the Defenders, or kind of like a special with regards to that. But yeah, it's just the robotic arm on her just is so cool. Like there's in gold. Like, that's so cool. Designed by Tony Stark. One character that would be really nice to put into the game would be Mr. Sinister. He's pretty cool. Let's have a look at what kind of like powers that they can have, because I'm not kind of overly familiar, but I know that he's had some great storylines with Cable and Apocalypse. And Apocalypse would be another kind of great character to put in. But you have to then have a look at like how powerful these characters could be, should be, and I think that he just factors into so much. Look at all these stories. Like, there's just like tons and tons of stories. Great speed, durability, cellular shape shifting, so that's going to be cool. Regen, superhuman stamina. It's going to be a pretty decent character, but I really think that the character should be in, having great events with great stories with Cable, him, and Apocalypse would be great. So the final person to talk about is Sue Storm, and the reason that is the final person is that we can just go on. It's like good 20 odd suggestions and ideas and possible tie-ins to films and TV that's going on that are logical. But when it comes to Sue Storm, now we've just come across with The Hood invisibility. Now my good friend Gravender, he actually said about, well, look at the fact that they've put in invisibility into the game, so they're making a step in a direction where you can get characters like Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. So as soon as you start that off, then that opens up your parameters to different things and different ideas going forward. So I think that this is going to be a possibility. It probably won't be, you know, this year. May not be next year. It depends what they do with Infinity Wars, like the film. Will they reboot again the Fantastic Four franchise? It's really hard to tell because I don't think people have warmed to it as much as they thought. So maybe they'll do a film and have the Fantastic Four in as a bit part and kind of see how the audience tests with it. So hopefully in the future we actually get a Fantastic Four team. But at the moment for this year, possibility for the Invisible Woman, yes. Likelihood of we getting carried there, I'd say no, potentially no. But you do never know with these things. There's 26 opportunities potentially to put characters in, and it's all a bit of a question mark of who gets and makes the cut. So let me know in the comments below. Based on the fact that we got Dormammu and the Hood, what do you think is going to be coming this year? Because all of what we thought on January the 1st has been cut to shreds. So let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. I've been RichTheMan, and if you did want to follow me for more Marvel Contest of Champions content, then please hit that subscribe button. If you like comic book stuff, then hit that subscribe button as well. Follow me on social media, the link is in the description below, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.